And shine, everyone. This morning, you're waking up to a KARE 11 weather impact alert our team just issued. As you take a live look from Mobile 11, you can see why. Those roads are partially covered or completely covered in some areas. You're going to find those slick conditions across the metro as you head out the door this morning. So be very, very careful. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jason Hacken alongside Alicia Lewis.
Yeah, we of course have team coverage throughout your morning commute this morning. Michelle Beck has been monitoring crashes and those road conditions. But first, let's get to meteorologist John Ziegler in the backyard with that half-inch of snow. It can wreak havoc on the roads, John.
It always does, especially because a lot of times the plows don't come out in the cities until it hits 1 inch of snow, or they might come out a little later. Backyard, a little fresh half an inch, and it was exactly a half an inch, as we reported at the airport last night. So this morning, it took me extra time, so we issued this till 9 o'clock in the morning, and we've seen some accidents popping up here, so watch out for those icy roads. We know they're way worse when you're in your community or your neighborhood, and they'll improve. They're not going to get completely, better. There's still icy spots on the main freeways, but they're better. Give yourself that extra time here this morning, and you might need to shovel the half inch. You got to shovel the half inch or dust off the cars. There's a couple of flurries out here. Again, the flurries that are falling right now are not accumulating to anything. This, on the other hand, this is lake effect snow north of Hayward up here, but we're going to start clearing out. And we're going to start cooling down. Plummeting temperatures today to go along with our cold morning. We're looking at sub-zero temps. We're going to track the fall there, and multiple snow chances, these little ones, which still cause impacts here. So a lot coming up here in your forecast. How's it looking out there, Michelle?
Well, hey, let's take a live look at Eagan. Our Mobile 11 is driving there right now. It looks like the roads are partially covered there, and we've seen some close calls as our photojournalist Jenny Teray was driving on those side roads. You can tell from the other cars passing her that roads do look slippery out there. Eagan, the southeast side of our metro, there are some slowdowns there, so I'll just talk about that in a little bit. Right now, taking a live look at a crash on 94 eastbound. You're going to find that in Minneapolis between 5th Street and Cedar Avenue. You can see there is a car pulled over. It has its hazards on. Luckily, there is some reinforcement, some law emergency vehicles out there to help this car out. But let's zoom out here and take a look at the road conditions. All morning long, it's pretty much looked like this, a mix, a hodgepodge of normal driving conditions and also partially covered conditions, just like we were seeing out on Mobile 11 live for ourselves. Remember, here are the main points that the main roads, yes, are better than the side roads. But remember also there are still icy patches, especially watch for those overpasses, bridges, and ramps. We'll talk about that throughout the hour, guys.
Michelle, thank you. We'll be checking in throughout the morning. Well, our top story here at the 6 o'clock hour, ICE agents are reportedly heading to Minnesota this morning with raids imminent in the Twin Cities.
And right now, the target of those raids, the Somali community. Audrey's at the live desk with new developments and what President Trump is saying. Audrey.
This information is coming from senior law enforcement officials to NBC News. Homeland Security, though, wouldn't confirm any ICE operations to us, but the agency said targets of those raids are based on immigration status, not ethnicity. President Trump yesterday had a direct message, though, for Somali people.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country.
The president cited the largest pandemic-related fraud case, which happened here in Minnesota and involved defendants of East African heritage. Now, last month, he vowed to end temporary protected status for a small number of Somalis. Of the roughly 80,000 Somalis in Minnesota, about half are foreign-born. Data shows the majority of foreign-born Somalis are naturalized citizens.
We go through the legal channels. So where's the data? Where is the data coming from? What caused this to be? It's lack of all of us coming together and holding power in check.
Now, the mayors of St. Paul and Minneapolis, the two cities supposedly being targeted by ICE this week, are speaking out, vowing to protect their Somali community members. I've got more on that coming up in 30 minutes.
All right, Audrey, thank you very much for that update. There's another major decision from Washington this morning that could impact nearly 500,000 Minnesotans. The Trump administration says it plans to withhold SNAP funding from several Democratic-led states, including Minnesota, if they refuse to turn over personal data on SNAP recipients, things like names, home addresses, and immigration status. The federal government says it's collecting the data to root out fraud. Minnesota's Attorney General is suing, saying the demand for data is unconstitutional. When SNAP benefits were stopped during the government shutdown, Twin Cities food shelves saw a surge in demand. Keystone Community Services says it served more people than ever and many first-timers.
There's no way that food shelf organizations can fill the gap that would be created if SNAP went away. There's nothing we can do, no matter how much community support we get, to really take the place of SNAP benefits.
A federal judge did recently block the government from withholding funding from states that did not comply with this data request. About 440,000 Minnesotans receive SNAP benefits.
Well, this morning, another twist in the Derek Chauvin case. He's asking for a new state trial. He's claiming his convictions were tainted due to misconduct by the prosecution and false testimony from expert witnesses. The 71-page filing asked for his 3 convictions to be vacated, saying that his rights were, quote, destroyed. It also says 5 years have passed since George Floyd's murder and the riots that followed, so the court can finally look at the evidence, quote, through a clear lens. New information this morning on the 4 men injured in a St. Paul shooting. We've learned all 4 are now being held by police who say that the men may have been shooting at each other. The shootout happened at around 4:30 Monday afternoon near the intersection of 4th and Earl Streets. St. Paul police say they're still trying to figure out who fired shots. All 4 men are expected to survive.
Just hours from now, a first-of-its-kind project will be officially open to our nation's heroes experiencing homelessness here in Minnesota. You're taking a live look right now inside the Veteran Village in Eagan. This is one of 22 units providing housing for up to 36 veterans and their family members. They'll work with the Minnesota Assistance Council for veterans to live here and get continued support. The ultimate goal is for residents to live here for at least 2 years, paying rent according to what they can afford.
For somebody who's been experiencing homelessness, they haven't had those responsibilities for a while. And in order to get into permanent housing, this is a routine you need to understand and you need to partake in. And so although it might only be $25 a month, it's still something and it's still teaching that habit.
Ahead of ribbon cutting at 11 a.m., we're told a few veterans have already moved in. And in a matter of weeks, all homes are expected to be occupied.